Yo, what's going on, guys? Your boy TJ Pedro, and I'm back with another video. And Fernando Tatis Jr. has signed a 14-year, $340 million. 14 years. Now, I have a few thoughts on this deal, and they may be a little bit controversial to the MLB fan. I just don't know if the Padres made the right decision in putting this much trust and this much into a guy who hasn't even played 162 games. In his professional career, which is only 2 years so far, he has played 143 games, 629 plate appearances. To me, I don't see $340 million out of that. But on the flip side, I do understand he is a very good player. You know he's going to be a stud for a while. They tried getting ahead of it. I get it. But already giving him 14 years. Yeah, 14 years. You're putting a trust that a guy who hasn't even played 162 games, you're putting that amount of trust into that guy for 14 years. I don't see where there's that type of value in a guy who hasn't, I know I'm harping on this a lot, but a guy who hasn't played a full season. I get it. He has a 301 batting average with a 956 OPS. All his stats are fucking amazing. Yeah, it's obvious he's a great player. One of the best. At least best younger players. But I think because he was arbitration eligible next year. And then he would have become a free agent in 2025. I think this type of deal, which would have been about 8 to 10 years, could have come in about 2023. He's 22 years old right now. So when this contract is done, he will be 36. Which I hope he's able to live up to this contract. Because, man, the Padres are putting a lot of faith into that freaking infield. They have a total of $822 million in that infield. That's almost $1 billion infield. They did trade for pitching this offseason, which was their need. They traded for good pitchers like Snell and Darvish. But, man, how much this will handicap them. Especially once Snell is up for Snell's contract is up, once Trevor Williams' contract is up, this team, I don't know if that's that type of commitment into 3 infielders, one guy who probably doesn't deserve that contract at this point. I know that's easy to look back on, but Eric Hosmer probably doesn't deserve that $144 million. They just signed a Korean infielder, Ha-Sung Kim, for $28 million. We'll see how that turns out. Tatis now has $340 million, and so far Machado has played well for that $300 million price tag. I will say that. Machado, which, I mean, if you know anything about the Padres, they aren't afraid of taking that type of risk. Machado coming into that offseason was the dirtiest player in Major League Baseball, and a guy who just came out and did an interview with Ken Rosenthal and said, I'm not going to be Johnny Hustle. I'm not going to hustle 100% of the time. Just didn't give out the best impression. And the Padres were like, you know what? Screw it. He's a good player. He'll be great for the team. Let's get him on. And he has played very well for that team. That contract is not a terrible one at all. So it's not as surprising as it should be that a guy, like I said before a few times, hasn't played a full season of baseball. It's probably not that surprising that they're the team that gave that much commitment to him. In my opinion, I think Tatis will become worth this contract, especially because he is a few years away from his prime. Right now, he's not even in the prime of his career. That's coming up in like 3-4 years. And already he's becoming one of the most recognizable faces in baseball. So this deal is, it's very nuanced. Because on one hand, you want to say, what are the Padres doing? But on the other, they kind of were doing the inevitable. They just kind of got ahead of it. And you know what? That deal being $24 million a year, that's probably going to age well. It's probably going to age better than it won't. I think it has a better chance, of aging well than it does to be aging poorly. Especially if he plays like this. If he plays like he has the last 2 years and he can play like this consistently, get a couple MVPs under his belt, lead the Padres to a late playoff run, and possibly a World Series, that contract could possibly age very well. And for him to get off that contract at 36, I said, which, yes, he gets off that contract at 36, possibly close to 37. So that's about the time where a guy will, they probably will fall off a little before that, but from what I've seen, that's before the 90-degree drop. Like Albert Pujols drop, Miguel Cabrera drop, all those guys, that sort of like 90-degree, like unrecognizable player, like the way Miguel Cabrera plays right now is irrecognizable to the player that was dominating the early 2010s. Albert Pujols, same thing. So that's about that age is probably about 37, 38 is when they start to take that 90-degree plunge. So we're just going to have to wait and see how this deal progresses. In my opinion, I think this is a very good thing for the Padres, in my opinion, but I can see the argument for it being too early. And I get that, because you never know what could happen to a guy. I'm not even going to say what possibly could happen. God forbid he gets injured or something like that. All right, I will say, God forbid he gets injured, doesn't come back the same. It's sort of a long commitment. And even if you do get out of that contract, you're still paying him $24 million outright right there. So it's not, in my opinion, as long as Tatis doesn't, God forbid, get hurt, this deal will age very well, in my opinion, and I think the Padres made a good move. The only thing I'd say is this will possibly handicap them from doing much other than this. Pitching-wise, once Snell is up, they're not going to re-sign him. Once Yu Darvish is up, they're probably not going to re-sign him. Their pitching staff is going to take a plunge because of this, and that could cost them. This deal kind of says we need to win now, because financially we may not be in the best position. Now, a way to get into financial security to where you could sign these guys is get rid of Hosmer. But Hosmer has produced, I will say that, but he's starting to get up there in age, and I don't think he's worth about I don't think he's worth that $100 million deal, which is probably north of $20 million per year. So that's it for me. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like down below. If you're new here, hit that sub button. I'm on my way to 200 subs. I need your help to get me there. The support on the channel lately has been incredible. I appreciate that. For anyone who has watched this video all the way through, who's liked the video, who's commented down below, I appreciate you 100%. Let's keep that going. I am going to be bold this year. My birthday just passed, and I'm feeling good. I want to hit 1,000 subs this year. I want to hit 1,000. And I know you guys can make that happen. So like the video so this goes out places. Comment, share with your friends, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, anyone. Just share the video, especially if they're a baseball fan, and tell them to subscribe so that this channel could grow. I want to be monetized here soon. So if you guys could please just like the video and share it, I'll appreciate that so much. Once I get to that level, giveaways will come. I just know the support I've been getting lately, and I want to capitalize on that. So yeah, that's it. So like, comment, subscribe, share with everyone. I am out of here. Peace. Boom. All right. Whoa.